Actors, we've all got issues, so let's talk about them. I'm Juan Ayala, and welcome to Actors with Issues. Each week, we bring you interviews with actors from across TV, film, and Broadway, taking many deep dives into their careers and getting into the successes, the struggles, and of course, the issues that they face as actors. That's enough about us. Let's dive into the episode. Today's guest has years and years of experience working in show business, first as a performer and now as a talent manager, coach, and as I like to think of it, a guidance counselor for both new and experienced actors. She's also an author of several books, including How to Break into Show Business, How to Be a Star Right Where You Are, and the host of the bite-sized podcast, Secrets of a Hollywood Talent Manager. Please welcome to the stage, Wendy Alane Wright. Wendy, thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to see you, Juan. It's great.
So Wendy, before becoming a talent manager, you were a performer, an entertainer. You were a singer and a recording artist. You also acted and then went on to work in a number of areas on the other side of the entertainment industry. So I'm curious what led you down that path to working with performers instead of as a performer?
I love singing, and I started in this business as a singer. My intention was always to be a singer. I never really had an interest in being an actor. I just kind of fell into that when I was a kid. My mom put me in a theater group and I was just in it, but that was never my goal to become an actor. I just always wanted to sing in front of people. So I did that for 20 years and I sang. I loved every moment of I've had a couple record deals and I've performed on, I've performed with a lot of people that I've grown up with, that I've admired, and I've made a lot of records. And I loved singing, but one day, I don't know even why. Well, maybe, the universe had a different purpose for me, because there's no reason for all of a sudden for me to lose complete interest in my own singing, which was like I didn't have any idea how to deal with that at first. Because I used to love that space when you put your headset on and then you close your, and then you sing, and I could listen to the sound of my own voice for decades, making music and creating melody and writing lyrics. And I just that was my whole life. And then one day I woke up and I had no interest in hearing myself sing at all. And I was like, holy cow, then who am I? Like, what do I do? Like, I don't even understand how this happened to me. Yeah. So I became a music agent. So I went in that way because I still wanted to be involved in the music. And by that point, I knew a lot of people in the music industry. And I thought and that just seems to be the way I went as a music agent. Someone asked me if I wanted to work at Virgin Records. And I said, yeah. Then someone asked me if I wanted to be an agent. And I was like, yeah, okay. And I fell into that side of it. And then at some point I decided I'd like to switch over to the acting side of it, because I really, really loved actors in a way that is profound. When I became a manager, I got a lot of new actors on television that had never done it before. And I also got a lot of requests from actors to represent them, obviously. But that's when I had to formulate some kind of help, because these actors had zero idea what they're doing. I swear to God, I've never seen such horrible cover letters, and just really no idea what to put in them. Like they don't know what to put in a cover letter. They don't know. They don't know that they can't submit to us without an actor's access profile. Literally, what am I looking at? If I don't see your actor's access profile, I can't see what headshots you have up there that I could work with. I can't see what clips you have. I can't see your special skills. I don't know what you're selling. So if you send me an email that just says, just like a link to your resume, it's not anything. I need to see more. So I would feel like, wow, so I'm going to write them back. and I took a lot of time writing people back. Like, look, you don't even understand what you're doing here. There's no way anyone's going to take this seriously. You need to do this. And then you might have a chance where people will pay attention. Right now, your lack of knowledge is keeping you completely out of the game. So you just got an MFA in theater. You just spent a lot of money on that, but you have no idea how to submit to an agent or manager. So here's what you need to do. And it seemed that there were so many wrong emails. Just so many people don't understand the business, don't know what their headshots are. Their headshots are completely different than the kinds of roles they would play. They don't know what goes on. They don't even know how to format Actors Access. They don't know what goes on it. Their clips are terrible. And it's so many artists that just get discarded because they don't know this very basic and important information. And I started going on YouTube and just saying, look, here's what you need to do. Don't do this. Don't do this. For sure, God, don't do this. And don't do this. You can do this, but don't do that. And I kept a Microsoft Word document open on my desktop. And every time I saw a mistake an actor made, I'd go in there and type it up, like, don't do this. And here's how you should do that. And here's an example of what to do. Pretty soon it was like 100 pages, and I just saved it as a PDF. And I would send that every time I saw an actor do something wrong. Just send that, like, read this, and you'll be in much better position than you were when you sent me this email. Trust me. And then I used to do that for quite some time. Just give them away, give it away, give it away, give it away. And my husband said, why are you giving away all your knowledge of 30 years? I don't understand. Why aren't you selling that? I was like, I don't know. I'm not selling it. I just want to help people. And he was like, but you can charge people. It took you 30 years to learn that. You don't just give that away. And I was like, oh, it took me about 4 more years to start selling that. And then I went on my YouTube channel. It seemed like there were hundreds and hundreds of videos, Juan. I mean, there's just so many mistakes. It's not funny. So I just felt like, you know what my calling is? To make sure that every single actor in this world knows what to do if they really want to pursue this as a living. If they really are serious and if it's in their heart and soul, then I know how to help them because I know what they need to do. And it's my job to explain it. Yeah. But what happens when you do 300 videos on YouTube and then you have 100,000 subscribers is you get a million questions.
Right.
And I can't answer them all. So I had to create another solution to that. And that's how TMFA came. It's not like I invented like, oh, let me open up a Facebook. No, I was like, I have to find a way to get all these questions answered. And I don't have the bandwidth to answer them by myself. So what else could I do? I could create a Facebook group, and I could bring agents and managers into that group. And I can ask them to please volunteer, even 10 minutes of your time every week, and just pop in and answer any questions actors have, please. They were like, we'll do that for you, Wendy. No problem. 150 agents, casting directors, and then there were 1,000 actors, 5,000 actors, 10,000, 90,000, 100,000 actors.
Yeah. So
that was not planned. I didn't perceive that. I just follow the need of how to help people. And it came out of that. We laid down some rules because we started to see a habit of people that don't know what they're talking about answering questions. That goes against the whole purpose. The purpose is to get like the truthful answer from reps about what reps want and need, and the truthful answer about how to work on television from people who work on television. So we can't have people who are not reps and who are not on TV answering questions with guesses. Well, I think this, and I guess maybe that, because that's not what I'm about. So it's not that I want to harm anyone by telling them not to answer. It's that my entire commitment is to get people the facts. That's the truth, the facts. Then whether they do it or not is not I have no control over that, but at least I can disseminate correct information. And so we had to put in some actors in place as moderators that every day delete people that ask that answer questions when they're not supposed to. We give them a warning, we put it in the rules. We make an announcement once in a while, like, please don't answer any questions here. This is not for an actor opinion group. This is a place
There's dozens of those already.
There's dozens of those, and that's okay. There's nothing. Go to those if you want that vibe of talking with actors and getting 1,000 opinions. Then go do that. But it's not my group, because I think when new people pop into that group, they don't know the difference between what's real, what's not real, what's true, what's not true.
Right.
So I need to dispel that, because even though there's no one way to build an acting career, there is no one program, one teacher, one path. There are very specific things that will harm it, that will prevent it from happening, that could derail you, that could make it take years, And so what we provide is the path of least resistance. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
I'll come in and I'll say, look, obviously you could take a headshot in front of a tree and someone might see it and decide they want to bring you in. I mean, we can't, who knows? But typically the standard for headshots is professional. So why don't I give you the advice on how to do it right, and you spend your time doing things the correct way and not try to hope you get somewhere doing things the wrong way. And it doesn't mean that wrong things can't turn into opportunities, but that's not, you don't teach people the wrong way. You teach them the right way.
it's a little frustrating because I'm also very active on the acting subreddit. Similarly, there's a few sort of like moderators, but of course everyone chimes in and gives
Mhm.
their feedback if they, and sometimes you see very wrong answers.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the biggest thing I see with young actors is that they will take the one case that there is like that there was an exception.
Mhm.
Like I forget the name of the young actor. He played the lifeguard in Stranger Things. Everyone talks about his audition tape that was
Dacker,
posted. And
Dacker Montgomery.
yes, Dacker, yeah, yeah. And how different it was, and he like
Yeah.
took a risk in the tape, and it's like, well, yeah, that doesn't mean that if everyone takes the same risk,
Yeah.
you're then no longer standing out. And
Yeah.
same thing
Yeah.
with there's a young Euphoria actress who's like not one of the main cast members. She was a little bit more prominent in the first season. She randomly got discovered at a mall by a casting director who like called her in.
Yeah.
But you're not going to tell every actor start hanging out at malls because cast, you know. But for
Yep.
whatever reason, they pick that one exception and
Yep.
think that's how I have to do it. It's like no, there's such there's a like you said there's a template for what you need to start and then
Yeah.
go from there. But in
Absolutely.
terms of like an exact formula, a checklist, by the time you hit the bottom of the checklist, you will have an agent. Like no, because we all
You're
have
going to be
headshots,
more.
resumes, reels. You
You'll
know
be in a better position to have an agent when you hit the bottom of my checklist. I promise you
exactly.
that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't think that. I think that a lot of people. That's probably my biggest pet peeve is that people don't get realistic.
Mhm.
I understand the fantasy of wanting to be an actor, and the fantasy of wanting to be a star, and the idea of it, and it's possible. I mean, every star you see started from nowhere, started from nothing, started with no experience, started with no history.
Mhm.
So everybody can do, anyone who's become a star started from scratch. So anyone with that dream, that's a reasonable dream. That's a fine dream. I think you should have that dream if you want it. But then you've got to take concrete steps towards it. Concrete, specific steps over time, really sustained effort and focus and never give up. You can never give up. You have to go at it relentlessly if that's your dream. And I need people who want to be an actor. See, I take this as very personally to me. I need them to understand how serious they have to be about their dream if they want to make that happen.
Mhm.
They have no room to quit, and they have no room to get they might feel discouraged when they don't get a role, when a show doesn't get picked up, when their lines are cut, when their stuff's on the editing room floor. But you get the heck back up and you
Yeah,
keep going, because this is what you said your dream is. So in order to get there, you're going to have to keep going. So get up and let's go.
yeah,
And let's do all the things that are going to give you the most possible chance for success.
right.
So that means you need to understand who you are. I was surprised when I was just at the Southwest Actors Convention in Arizona, put on
Mhm.
by casting director Bella Hibbs. What a great event. It was so amazing. And she had great coaches there, a panel of agents and managers. And I had a room, I was one of the speakers, and I talked to the actors and I asked them, who here knows what types of roles you play? Only like 3 hands went up. They just don't know.
Mhm.
And that's impossible to sell something you don't even know what you're selling, because we're basically in the sales business.
Mhm.
The manager is selling the actor to casting. The casting is selling the actor to the network. The network is selling the actor to the public. The public, advertisements are trying to be, advertising agencies are trying to sell their products on the shows. This is all sales. And the
Yeah,
product is the actor, and the actor doesn't know what its product is. You got to figure that out.
yeah.
So, and most people can't see themselves clearly. They
Oh yeah.
see their flaws. They see what's wrong with them.
Yep.
Things that maybe other people don't even notice.
Mhm.
Because people are so hard on themselves. So they're like, well, I don't like this about me. I don't like that. And the other person's, I didn't even see that. So people can't see themselves clearly. So they need to understand, how does the industry see them?
Mhm.
How do other people see them? And then once you understand that, then you package that. You package that. So that's why I see a lot of packages that are not clearly reflective of who the actor is or what they're selling.
Right.
It's impossible for someone to buy something that they don't even know what it is.
Like how many times do people get annoyed when they order something online and it comes in, you're like, this is not at all what was in the pictures online. How annoyed would a casting director be if your headshots look one way, you walk in looking completely different because you haven't updated your shots, or you had a makeup artist that day and you don't know how to do your own makeup. As a theater actor, I know how to do my own makeup. decently. If I have eczema, if I have a little red patch on my face, I know how to cover it up, but
Yeah.
if you walk in looking different, it's like that, you know, where's the receipt? Send it back.
Yeah, exactly. This is not what I ordered. I don't understand. I didn't order onions. Why is this whole thing an onion burger? But I think actors, listen, this is something you can take step by step. You don't have to have a fantasy of like, I'm just going to get discovered in the mall. No, 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 no. You might, but we can't build a plan on that. We can't
Right.
build a strategy around that. If you want to spend your extra time in the mall hoping it happens, that's your choice. But here's a better way. Okay.
Right.
We're going to do these 10 things, and you're going to take very good care of each of these steps. You're not going to just rush through them and throw something half-assed into the world and hope that you stand out and make a strong impression. It doesn't happen that way. So you're going to take each step one at a time and put everything you've got into it to make sure it's great. Then you're going to do the next thing. And with that same amount of care and high level intention on your step. So when you go into headshot sessions, for example, when I tell an actor to go in a headshot session, and they tell me that, and we decide, you're going to play a cop, you're going to play a teacher, you're going to play a lawyer. Okay. And one of the essences you have is you're determined and you don't back down and you don't take shit. That's like your essence. Mm-hmm. You can't go into your headshot session and play like I'm determined, no, you're playing the mood, like my friend Mark Atterbury always says. You have to literally have thoughts of you're messing with the wrong people. Mm-hmm. Now that you're in my courtroom, I'm taking you down. And that's going to give you the intention from in here, inside, the emotion, and the camera will pick that up. But if you don't understand that simple thing, and that's that simple process of feeling real feelings, having real thoughts, and just let the camera snap the pictures, then you're just going to pose. And you're going to pose like, I'm not happy, I'm mad. And it's going to be a bunch of photos that are useless in different outfits that don't pop to casting because nothing real is going on in the eyes.
Right.
And that cost you $500 to learn that. And you don't know, so you don't know that's the problem. So you're submitting to agents and managers and nobody's buying it because it doesn't sell. And then you're trying, if you do get someone that likes your look and thinks, well, we'll try it and see what happens. You're with them for 2 years. They don't get you any auditions. You don't know. It's because you simply didn't understand how to take headshots. Now, why should I just sit back and be like, well, I know, but you don't? That's just not my soul. Right. And I remember telling some of my agent friends, one of my agent friends, when I started helping actors, she said to me, why are you wasting your time teaching them this? Let them figure it out on their own. She's a huge agent from a major company that represents stars. I said, well, how are they going to become great business partners for you if they don't learn this? And why would you even say that? Don't you care about actors? You literally make your living off of actors. You pay your rent. You put your kids through school. Like, why don't you care about, I'll get myself upset. Why don't you care about the people coming up? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Business is full of shit. That's what bothers me. Like, we only care about stars when they're stars. But what about when they're starting out and they have a dream and they're destined for something great and nobody gives a shit about them until they're making enough money for people to care? Right. I can't with that. Because I really think artists are like the most important people in the world.
I think people fail to realize that at the beginning of the pandemic, when everyone was home for a couple months, it's like, what were you all doing? Watching as much TV as you could get your hands on. Thank God for artists and entertainers and all of those people who were able to give us a sense of escapism in such a difficult time. And just from the day to day, you come home from a long day of work, you're exhausted and annoyed, and you put on your favorite sitcom to make you laugh. Or people just fail to realize that because there's so much content out there. And, I think it's wonderful to see how passionate you are, because like you said, this business is very much full of shit. And there are a lot of people who are like basically snake oil salesmen selling, take my workshop, take my class, come do my seminar. And it's like, you're teaching people the things that are readily available online. And what you're doing is so much more than that. And really, like you said, even with just a Facebook group, you have like dozens and dozens and dozens of experts, people in the profession right now, not retired actors who have never done a self-tape because that was not a thing for them, rather
right?
the people who just had a self tape, who just sent it in and are not going to answer your questions about your lighting and things like that, you know,
Isn't
like
that the
little
person you want
things.
to learn from, you know?
Exactly.
Exactly. And someone who has 3 auditions this week and they just have another one coming up, and there's the pressure of what does that feel like to really be doing this?
Mm,
Because you have to have a clear distinction between the dream of it and the reality of it. And then
right.
you better get your work ethic up to the level it's going to take to really make it happen.
Mhm.
And when I was in TMFA last week or 2 weeks ago, someone was like complaining about memorizing 6 lines, and I was like, "Dude, you're so far out of the ballpark. You're not even not even in the stadium.
Yeah.
Like you're literally in the city next door. You're not even in this. You're not only not in the game. You're not even in the town where the game is being played.
Right.
Okay,
Wait
you
till
better
you get your
learn
series regular audition with 3 scenes due tomorrow.
exactly. And you're in the middle of recording another one right now.
Right.
And there's 8 pages after that. Come on, but you can't blame people, fault people for not knowing something they don't know.
Exactly.
And I'm raised by 2 teachers. Both of my college professors are my parents. So teaching somebody how to do something is critical. Giving them the support to get it done is critical. But whether they do it or not, you're powerless over that. So I just feel like my contribution to this business and this world is to help as many people become their artists that they're meant to be, understand the things they don't understand, and encourage them to please take action on those things, because the results only come from action. And I also notice what comes up a lot is a lot of lack of self-confidence, not believing in themselves enough. And I think people need to be pushed through that so they can take the action. And we don't want to lose artists because of fear of rejection or fear of failure or fear that they're not good enough. Everybody suffers from that.
Mm.
So we need to push artists through that and help them, because those are the people that are going to contribute the most to us as a people.
And I'm curious, what would you say is the most common mistake that actors make?
Well, there's so many. I mean, that's the whole reason I created the Winner Circle course, is that, you know, I think one of the mistakes that actors make that's easily correctable is
Mm,
when they submit to agents and managers, they have to put their Actors Access link and their Casting Networks link in the email.
mm,
So we can't just send a headshot. We can't just send your Actors Access resume, or your resume. I mean, we can't just put a YouTube link to a video. Like, here's my demo reel. We need to see, what are we going to sell you with? And if you understand this business, you understand agents use TV and film agents use the Actors Access profile that you provide,
mm.
and commercial agents use the Casting Networks profile you provide. So if you want to submit to a commercial agent, you got to include that Casting Networks link so they can see what they would be using. Now, the big mistake is, on that Casting Networks link is a ton of mistakes. You know, they only put 1 photo up or 2 photos. They don't know what agents need to sell them, so they don't put it there. They just don't know. So I have this mini course called How to Get an Agent Without a Demo Reel, which teaches you, listen, you don't need a demo reel to get an agent. You can use acting clips. Okay, I've said this a million times. If you have a clip for each of your types and it's solid acting, that's enough to interest an agent and get you going. You don't need to accumulate footage and get a reel together and, then throw your student film footage together and call it a reel and think that's going to sell you. It's not going to sell you. It's not. Right. So I really want actors to know that they can find a faster way to do it. And that's kind of basically what I'm here to do. Show you the fastest possible way I know that you can make this work. But it's going to take a lot of work, and you better be ready for the work, because this is not an overnight success business.
You know, as I said, one of the most common sayings for actors is it's not a marathon, or it's a marathon, not a race. You know, there isn't like an exact finish line. This is a journey.
Yeah.
And also regarding what you just said about like sort of like video clips and reels and whatnot, like I learned, even though I've done 5 episodes of television, most of that footage is not great for a reel, because it's co-stars, it's a line, it's a couple of lines, it's you're on screen reacting, but that's not interesting. That's not going to grab a casting director's attention. That's just
exactly.
It should be like a collective of your best work, and not just like a collective of like what you're kind of most proud of. You know, like your reel shouldn't be used for bragging.
Yeah.
Look at all the TV I've done.
Exactly. And it's great that you booked that TV. I mean, that's like the dream, is to book these shows.
Mm.
But the business side of it is, you can't create a reel out of that and then actually get the attention of Steven Spielberg, because it's just, that co-star served the story you were telling in that episode, but it doesn't demonstrate your most powerful acting ability. And so as a salesperson, right? I'm a salesperson. I sell actors to casting agents, managers, that thing. I need to have your best acting right now on you. And you better just create a self-tape. Let's just get that done. If you want to just start something and get it, like today, your listeners are like, how do I start? Find a great scene you're right for. Watch television. Go watch Law and Order. Go watch any crime show and put the closed captions on and watch the dialogue and grab 30 seconds of that dialogue and create a self-tape. It's got to be a kind of role you would play. So cop or witness or teacher or whatever, something you would play, but then get the dialogue right off television. Then you set up your camera on your tripod, get your eye line correct, have a reader, and deliver something that focuses on you, that focuses on emotion and your story and how you're trying to affect the other actor and your point of view. And that's going to be a stronger clip than something you might have gotten from network TV as a co-star.
Right.
And we can use that just to get the momentum going, the ball rolling, get you an agent or get you in the door to other casting offices. As time goes on, you'll start to book those guest stars that maybe have a good arc, something we really can replace those self-tapes with. But when we're just starting out, we don't need all that. But then those self-tapes have to be done correctly. So like every time you open a door, there's things that have to be done in that. You can't be too far away. You're a little tiny thing in the self-tape. You can't be too close. You can't have your eye line down here or up here and or over here, So you got to learn how to do that. Mm. And then when we can look at that and say, okay, that's good. Put that on your Actors Access. Now let's go do another one. Let's go do lawyer. All right, that's good. Now let's go do another one. Let's go do mom. All right, now you've got 3 solid self-tapes that we can use to kick the door in and get you those auditions for bigger things. You learn so much by listening to someone who's ahead of you and says, here's what you can do. And if you listen to 10 people who are ahead of you and they all have something similar to say, then you know that that's probably the truth.
Yeah.
Like if they have 10 working actors, they're all on television, they all look back to you and say, here's what I did, and you hear a common thread, then that's where you start. You start on the common thread. There'll always be little variations and differences. But the common thread is something that's like almost mandatory,
I don't want to keep it for too long. So we always end with our final question is in 10 words or less, what advice would you give to a young actor?
Learn how the business works. Make a list of the things you need to do. Absolutely do them and don't talk yourself out of it or get in your own way. Just stick to your dream, stick to your goal, do the hard work it takes, and don't ever give up because you can do it. And you deserve to be successful. And the world needs your talent.
Wendy, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show today and chat with us. Social media, Instagram, where can our lovely fans find you?
Thank you for having me, Juan. I really appreciate being here. You can follow me at Instagram, Wendy Alane1 at yahoo.com. You can train with me at HollywoodWinnerCircleAcademy.com. You can go to the free website, Talent Managers for Actors, and ask questions. Or you can go to YouTube and watch my channel, Secrets of a Hollywood Talent Manager. And every single thing there is made to help you succeed.
Awesome. And folks, you know the drill. You can find us on Instagram at Actors with Issues. Give me a follow at Juaniel Official, and you can find more of our show on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, with new episodes every Monday and bonus episodes on Thursdays. I'm Juaniel. This is Actors with Issues, and we'll see you next week.